hold.
that you don't fully understand.
I'm sorry, say that again?
We will, sure. So AppleCare is to discourage you from digging into hidden areas of the Mac OS that you are not equipped to understand, because AppleCare is not here to provide general education for random things found in the Mac OS or other Apple products. If you want a detailed person to go through with you on these that is trained to go through with it, you'll need to seek assistance from an Apple consultant. Apple consultants are available at apple.com/consultant.
Great, thank you for that. And that was in the notes because I wasn't provided with that information.
That is correct.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to write that down. Apple.com/consultants. Yes?
Correct.
Sorry, there's issues with, I get drop calls.
Apple.com/consultant.
And that's with an S, right?
Correct.
All right. And just to clarify, because this is what I was going to send you, I was going to send you these screenshots, but you apparently have them. And you're telling me, nope, normal, where it says pick up 6, but it's only disclosing 3 expected and normal behavior.
Correct.
Correct. And hold on. And Tim, you're also saying where in screen time, app usage, where the Mac says it shows usage as 43 minutes, but will only disclose 16 minutes. You're telling me that's expected behavior as well. It does not have to add up.
Our engineers have reviewed all of the material that you have submitted and have indicated that you are experiencing expected behaviors. So yes, I can confirm that it is expected behavior.
Right. Okay. So here's a stupid question. So bear with me. I'm a newbie here. So I thought when I open screen time and it says usage, because you guys, senior advisor has said to me that what I see at the bottom in app usage should add up to what I see at the top. But now you're telling me something different. You're telling me what I see at the bottom should not have to add up to the top.
Correct.
Right? So what's the use of screen time if the numbers should not, it's okay for the numbers not to be congruent. What's the use of screen time?
The actual usage that is allotted to a user when you set a time limit is still maintained. But
No.
There can be times that a process is used or an application is used where you didn't have direct use of that application or of that service. So it doesn't deduct from your available screen time. For example, you're trying to send a picture from the Photos application, and you indicate that you want to share that picture using Messages. It will not launch the Messages application, but it will use a messaging time while you are formatting and sending that picture. So it's not deducting from the time that you're allowed to use Messages because you're not using Messages.
Okay, I think I understand. And that is because of app limits, because I set limits and that is why it's not congruent, right?
Correct.
All right. But here's the thing, Tim. I never set any limits on anything.
I understand that you don't use the limiting factors.
Right.
But that's why there can be a discrepancy between what you see below and what you see above. You were asking me why the discrepancy was expected behavior. I'm explaining to you why part of the built-in Mac OS, there can be a discrepancy.
Right. You said there can be a discrepancy because app limits are set, but and you're also saying, one, if app limits are set, there can be a discrepancy. Two, you're saying
No,
okay.
That's not what I said. And you are putting words into my mouth, and I want to retract them.
No, correct me, please.
Yeah, so I did not say that it can be different because app limits are set. I said that it can be different because app limits exist. App limits are always maintained. So if you set a limit, for example, on Messages to only allow a user to use the Messages application for 1 hour, they will only get 1 hour of the Messages application being open. But you can still use the messaging application in a way. For example, going into the Photos app, clicking share on a photo, choosing to share it via Messages. It opens up an applet within the Photos app that enables you to send a message. It will not deduct from your messages app time because the app was not open.
All right. And if I did not set any limits,
The behavior will still exhibit the same way because you weren't actually in the messages application while you were using the messaging application's features.
all right. So the behavior will exhibit the same way whether I set limits or don't set limits.
That's correct.
That's what I'm getting at. Okay, because then I'm asking myself, if I set no limits and nothing is congruent, pickups is never congruent, usage is never congruent, notification is never congruent, always allowed is never congruent. I think it's standard. It's expected for us users to ask, hey, if you're telling me it should be congruent when I never set any limits, I'm asking you why it isn't, but you're telling me all of that, the non-congruency in each category, that's all expected.
Correct.
Right. Okay, I just want to hear you say it so I don't have to send any more images. And then she also said to me that my Mac, it says this, your screen is being observed when it's in safe mode. This was done at the Apple Store. Apple asked me to go to the Apple Store to set my computer in safe mode to see if I'll see that that screen, and it still happened. I sent a screenshot. And I was told that's expected behavior as well, where it says your screen is being observed. That's expected behavior.
Okay.
Yes? Because if it happens, listen, it happens regularly, and I'm saying my Mac is telling the truth. Its screen is being observed, but I don't understand why engineering came back and said, well, that's expected behavior. Why would it say that my screen is being observed?
So that's, again, a process being called up by a process. The remote advisor process can still be called up and used even if you have screen sharing turned off, if you're being assisted by an AppleCare remote advisor like myself. Still, you would need to provide consent for that interaction to occur. Once you do provide consent for that interaction to occur, you may see it showing you that the screen is being observed.
Tim, you're absolutely correct. That is what happens when I am screen sharing with a senior advisor. Absolutely correct. But I'm talking about something totally different. I went to the Apple Store, we turned off Wi-Fi, and I see on my screen, your screen is being observed. I always see it when I'm screen sharing with Apple. That is expected behavior. What I didn't expect is to see it when I'm not screen sharing with Apple Advisor and when Wi-Fi is turned off. Right? Because we're talking about two different things. Yes, expected. Yes, I understand it's okay when I'm screen sharing with you guys. But I'm thinking...
Okay, so the engineering team answered this question in their response. They said, how can your computer screen show that it's being observed without an internet connection while in safe mode at the Apple Store? The engineer says we can't answer this precisely without any actual evidence, like the logs from your computer. The one screenshot showing the message at the login screen at the icon of the menu bar confirms that the customer, that you, did experience this behavior. However, in absence of any network connections or local area network, it's impossible and therefore have been a screen sharing connection active, or it is possible that there could have been a screen sharing connection active. So this is an understandable concern. The general answer is that there was not a screen sharing connection, that there was a software product running on the Mac that was recording the screen in some way. The screen is either being observed, i.e. using a screen sharing or a similar device, or being recorded, like with time screen recording or a similar function. The OS identifies these conditions and triggers the screen sharing icon in the menu bar of the login window. In the more recent versions of macOS, it also displays the text message on the screen that your screen is being observed. It's impossible for us to determine which software product triggered this behavior or what was occurring on the Mac at the time that this was gathered, because we don't have the logs of what was going on in your system at that time. We don't know what apps are running. We don't know what services are running.
Mm-hmm.
We can't tell you what is causing these symptoms.
Okay. Okay. Is it possible to run capture data in without joining a network connection?
Yes, you can run the capture data utility at any time.
Okay. Can you send me the link for that?
I can, but I'm not going to. The engineering team has already said that they provided answers to the above question in another case, and that if you wanted any additional concern related to screen sharing, it says, in the presence of this application list, indicates running furthermore, software says even if you've, I'm sorry, may I place you on hold one more second, because I know there was a final point that said we couldn't escalate this again, but I needed to review why.
Sure.
Can I place you on hold to re-review
Yeah,
it?
yeah, no problem.
Thank you for holding. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so there is a circumstance where we can escalate this concern again to the engineers, but they told me that it's only a very specific circumstance.
Okay.
Do you currently have screen sharing enabled in your system preferences?
No, I don't have screen share. Hold on. I don't have screen sharing enabled, but just give me a minute. I'm opening up system preference, okay? So tell me under what conditions I can run capture data for them?
I'm going through those with you. It's not something I will disclose. It's something I'm going to verify with you.
All right. So in screen sharing, it says file sharing is off, media sharing, print sharing, remote sharing with administrators, remote management. No, it is exactly as it was at unboxing. I didn't share anything. It doesn't look, it says off.
Okay, so if you're in system preferences and you click on sharing, the first checkbox is screen sharing. Is
Yes.
it checked or not checked?
It's not checked.
Great. The next one we're concerned about is remote login. Is remote login checkmarked?
Nope, not check mark.
Is remote management checkmarked?
No. Okay, I'll follow your list and then I'll speak. No.
Okay. Is anything on the left checkmarked?
No.
Okay. Do you have a third-party application that is scheduled to run a recording of what's going on your screen?
I have nothing outside of what the Mac came with.
There can be schedules ran on the Mac to automatically record the screen using Automator and QuickTime. Do you know if the QuickTime application ever opens on your Mac?
Yes, it runs sometimes. And I have a question on that. So when I'm using QuickTime, will my Mac automatically say your screen is being observed?
It may, because the QuickTime application is an application that can record your screen. Anytime an application has authorization to record your screen, that notice may be present.
It may be present sometimes and not other times, or it'll be present all the time?
It won't be present all the time because certain macOS features aren't engaged through the QuickTime application. If you're using any sort of screen capturing, like taking a screenshot or doing any screen recording within the QuickTime application, it's definitely going to show up.
It'll say that. Go ahead.
If you're doing something like clicking on a QuickTime video in Finder just to play that video,
Right.
QuickTime may launch and play that video without showing that notice.
All right. So sometimes it might say you're being observed and sometimes it will not when I'm using QuickTime.
Yes, it just depends what protocols are being engaged within the Mac OS.
Okay. Tim, thank you for that. I have the one last question I want to ask you is, and this is from Senior Advisor. I've asked about why is data, lots of data, moving in and out of my computer when I did not join a network. And I was told that, a friend of mine had told me to run diagnostic to see what I can see in NetStat. In NetStat, I found IPv4 and IPv6 connections. I researched that and it told me that those are actual connections, that underground connections. So I'm just wondering again, when I'm not network connected, this is a private computer, when I'm not network connected, when I did not join a network, why is so much data moving in and out of my computer?
So the engineers did provide an answer on this, and they said that the simple answer is that macOS uses a variety of networking protocols to communicate with itself. The process may communicate with other processes using network technologies, and the macOS may communicate with a specific hardware components, such as the touch bar, using networking technologies. Certain components of the Mac have IP addresses to facilitate this communication. We will not be providing the exact detail about how this works.
Oh, okay.
The Activity Monitor is not a suitable app to monitor network usage at the level that you would like it, you as the consumer. It does not track networking activity historically, nor does it differentiate between activity that is quote-unquote networking and the way that customers would consider it, like LAN or network activity, versus machine network activity. Therefore, Activity Monitor will show you activity that has nothing to do with your network or internet connection, and it should not be used to monitor them. The customer should research third-party software that provides the type of functionality that you would like to be able to examine what's hardware network activity versus what is internet network activity.
Right, and I agree. I do agree there. I am not talking about Activity Monitor per se. At the bottom, I said activity. Hold on, I'll bring it up now, so I can speak directly. If I click on network, if I open Activity Monitor and I click on network, at the very bottom, it tells me packets in and packets out.
Right. So that's what our engineers are saying, is that the Activity Monitor will show packet activity in and out, even if you're not connecting to the internet. That packet activity can be activity from your computer to like a touch bar. It can be communication between the main hard drive and the touch bar that uses the network channel as a method of communicating. That's why the touch bar has its own IP address. That's why several different hardware components within the Mac have their own IP address. This Activity Monitor is not the best application to differentiate what is being used to access internet network versus what is used to access device-based network communication.
Got it.
Because there can be several device-based network communications that occur regularly built in within the Mac OS completely expected behavior will show up in Activity Monitor as packets being sent or received.
All right. So I think I got it. Where it says packets in and out, it's not packets actually to another device, going out to another device or coming in from another device. It's actually packets in and out within the system itself, right?
Correct.
All right. So did they at all speak to the IPv4 and IPv6 connections?
No, because that's not something that Apple is here to distinguish or go over with you. If you have questions about IPv4, IPv6 networking, we can refer you to Consultants Network, or you can reach out to your local internet service provider for more details.
Okay, I appreciate you saying that. So anything with NetStat, they want me to go to Consultants.
Anything that is basically asking about how do these inner workings of the Mac OS work. That's something that AppleCare is not here to provide assistance with. AppleCare is here to provide you assistance with any symptoms that you're experiencing on your Mac that would indicate hardware or software malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
We're not experiencing symptoms in your Mac which indicate a hardware or software malfunction. Your software and hardware are functioning as expected.
Mm-hmm.
You're just asking these questions out of your own curiosity and security.
Actually,
that's not something that AppleCare is here to go over with.
No, actually, I'm not asking because of my. I want information from Apple. I'm asking because things do not work on the computer because in Force Quit, there's things running and I'm trying to force quit them and they do not quit. And I showed that to the Apple Store. I showed to the genius at the Apple Store. Right? Because the things running in Force Quit, I cannot quit them at all. So is Apple going to tell me that's expected behavior as well? Because so far things are not congruent and you guys are telling me, hey, listen, it's all expected behavior. So when
if you're experiencing something where you cannot force quit an application on your Mac, that's certainly something that I can evaluate with you and troubleshoot with you.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Is it happening now?
No, because right now, no. Because it happens and then it stops and then and I've recorded all of it and I went to the store, I showed it to them, look what's happening. And so they wanted to run diagnostic on it. So, but they wanted me to save everything that's on the Mac. So if they're thinking that what they saw was a problem, but then it went to engineering and engineering sees no problem and they see actually me as the problem, which is fascinating actually. Anyways, listen, last question. I understand that you're saying anything that have to do with NetStat, and that's my question because I see that's where I'm looking to understand what's happening on the Mac. And in NetStat, I see interfaces, I see IPv4 and 6. You're telling me, my understanding is you're telling me, look, if anything has to do with NetStat or diagnostic, take it to a consultant. Everything else is okay, right?
Are you saying NetStat?
Yes.
What is NetStat to you?
Well, because of the ongoing problem, I spoke to someone about it here, local in Toronto, and he said if you want to know what's going on with your Mac, if there's an outside connection to your Mac, run NetStat, and it should tell you there. If you have an outside connection, and NetStat would say you have 35 active foreign connections, and it'll give me a long list of IP addresses. So that was concerning.
Yeah, so if you have running a third-party application and you're concerned about the results that you're seeing in a third-party application, the developer of that third-party application would be the source that you would go to ask for clarification or details. That's not something that Apple would be able to explore with you.
I understand that, and I completely 100% agree with you, and that is why I refuse to download any third-party app, even from the App Store. I have no other app outside of what came with the computer and actually Big Sur. That's the only thing, nothing else. That is why when it says active foreign internet connections and there's a huge list, I'm concerned. But and I have no foreign app. I've shown that to Apple many times. No foreign app, no downloaded app, nothing.
NetStat itself would be a foreign app. wouldn't it?
No, NetStat came with the Apple, with the Mac.
NetStat is not an application I'm familiar with. How do you spell that?
NETSTAT. That's the one that tells me I have a million foreign internet connections, and including IPv4 and IPv6.
So I'm not even seeing a NetStat application that's built into the Mac OS. How do you launch NetStat?
All right, so I run diagnostic on the Mac.
How are you running diagnostics on the Mac?
I go to Activity Monitor. I click on View. It gives me an option to run diagnostic. I run diagnostic. I do it. I run diagnostic, and it tells me all the foreign IP addresses and everything I just said to you, including
So-
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm in Activity Monitor, and where are you going in Activity Monitor?
Hold on, I'll bring it up now, okay? Just 1 second. I'm in Activity
Sure.
Monitor. So you click on Activity Monitor. It's the active process. Click on View. The drop-down menu says Run Diagnostics. Run System Diagnostics.
It's grayed out for me.
Right. On mine, I can run it right here. And my computer guy is telling me, trust diagnostic. It'll tell you everything. And it's telling me things that is worrisome. And now I'm asking Apple because my settings change all the time. Things are disappearing from my computer all the time.
What does the Apple Diagnostics instruct you to do?
Well, it gives me, what it tells me is that it gives me a number of errors actually. The number one error it gives me is it tells me that it cannot open this device. Operation not permitted.
I've never ran diagnostics this way ever on a Mac. When you come to us and you ask us to run diagnostics, what AppleCare is able to guide you through is shutting down your Mac and starting it up holding the D as in diagnostics key. This isn't a method that AppleCare would provide support on. If you want additional support on using this particular function, you would need to seek support from an Apple consultant.
And that's all right. I understand the process, and that's Apple's process. That it will not assist in this area, but it's absolutely 100% Apple process, right? And that's how I find out the information I find out, because so many things are happening on the Mac and it's not obvious. So I had to dig deeper. Because then you can depend on Apple to help me. And the diagnostic in NetStat, and I've researched in NetStat, it told me that I have all these foreign internet, active internet connections. Anyway, Tim, we're not getting anywhere. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, no, back up a bit. You had told me that you can capture data under what condition?
Under the condition that you couldn't identify the application that was monitoring the screen at the event. And that you had everything disabled under sharing. So since you had everything disabled under sharing, I was about to file the RTA, but then you said that you could identify that QuickTime may have been open when these events occurred, that you used QuickTime. So there was no reason for us to file a RTA.
Well, I use QuickTime sometimes and not at other times, but this thing still happen.
Is it occurring now?
I don't know. I turned off screensaver because I don't want to see it all the time. It just interrupts what it is I'm doing.
You can still lock the screen by hitting the Apple logo and choosing lock screen.
Right. I guess I could. I just choose not to see it all the time. That's all. Okay. Because I used to see it all the time.
So what I'm asking you is occurring still. That's my offer to try to provide assistance. I'm like a mechanic. If I'm a mechanic and you're experiencing an issue, they take a look at it, diagnose it.
Right.
Right now, you're not experiencing an issue, so there's not something for me to take a look at.
Right. I will tell you this. When we tried to run diagnostic previously, and there should be notes, you guys should have notes on it. When I tried to run diagnostics, what happened is that I had mentioned to you before in Force Quit, I couldn't quit anything. And I said to Apple, I will run diagnostic when I'm able to force quit all these things that are running, because I couldn't force quit anything.
Is that still occurring? Are you able to force quit everything now?
2 days ago, I couldn't, and then I didn't use the computer at all yesterday. What for? I have no control of it. And then today, voila, it's perfect. Today, it's good. But I couldn't use it because nothing would quit. And in, oh, by the way, now that I just see it, I just reminded myself. In Activity Monitor, every process is restricted from quitting. Why is that? Why do I not have any control to quit any process on my Mac?
I'm very confused what you're saying. The processes aren't protected. If you're in the force quit applications and you're not able to quit an application, that's certainly something that I can troubleshoot with you.
Okay.
Is that what you're experiencing now?
Okay, so pause. That's what I was experiencing 2 days ago. I said today everything is perfect. Here's what what I want to ask you now, because it happens every single day, 24, as long as I'm using the Mac. If you open the Activity Monitor, tell me if you're there, and I'll point you to what I'm looking at.
So Activity Monitor isn't largely supported by AppleCare, but I'm in the Activity Monitor. What would you like me to look at?
Right. If you see if you click on View in the menu bar and go to Column, on the left-hand side, it shows you, I clicked on Restricted Processes for it to show me all the processes that are restricted. Because I found that there are things running on my Mac that I can never quit. So I clicked on what's restricted, and it tells me every single process on my Mac is restricted, including Safari. I cannot quit anything on my Mac.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that restricted means or what it refers to. Again, that's not something that AppleCare is trained on or in the position to provide support on.
Okay.
If you don't know what restricted means either, I would refer you to an Apple consultant.
Got it. All right. My thought is common sense, because it's my computer. I'm thinking that I should be able to quit any process I want to quit. But that's now I'm impossible. I try to quit anything, just any random thing. I cannot quit them. But you're telling me Apple does not support it, so that ends that conversation, right?
It does. I'm sorry. We don't provide support on what restricted is and then Apple processes within your Mac OS. If you want additional support on that, you'll have to go to the Apple Consultants Network.
Is that a paid service?
It is a paid service.
All right.
It would be a third-party consultant that would go over this information with you.
All right. I will decide to run capture data. Could the Apple Store do that for me? Or do you have to send them a link for that?
We'd have to send them a link for that. We'd only run capture data when we're submitting a request for technical assistance to the engineering team.
All right. So I am going to be busy for a little while. Is it possible to contact Apple again to send me that capture data link, and then I can go to the Apple Store and have them ensure that things can be quit and they can run the capture data? Can I do that?
I'm not sure what the point of that would be, so I'm going to say no. We would only run the capture data utility if we're escalating an unresolved symptom. You haven't presented a symptom that I haven't been able to resolve. As you've told me, everything is working great today. So everything is resolved as of today.
All right. So if it happens again that I cannot quit a process, that's a problem?
That's a problem, then you should call us and we can troubleshoot that with you.
All right. So when it happens again, Tim, please make a note of that. Make a note of that, because I know it's going to happen again. It happens all the time. When it happens, make a note of it. I'll call you. You're going to run capture data instead of someone saying, hey, listen, engineering says no more, we're not running capture data.
So to be clear with you, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying to you, Sita, and I'll be very clear.
Shoot.
If you're experiencing an unexpected behavior on your Mac,
Yes.
contact AppleCare. We will troubleshoot the issue with you. our troubleshooting may involve powering off and powering back on the Mac.
Oh,
If
okay.
that resolves the issue,
Right.
then our troubleshooting has completely resolved the problem that you called in for. There would be no reason for us to escalate an issue to the engineering team, so there would be no reason for us to run the capture data utility.
I
That
see.
makes sense.
Got it. I got it. All
So we
right.
have to be able to experience an unexpected behavior that we would need to escalate to engineering to run a capture data process.
All right. And the idea that I cannot quit anything and then it fixes itself and then I cannot quit anything and then it fixes itself, that's irrelevant, yes? Because once it
You're saying
fixes,
you cannot quit anything. You can quit things from the force quit menu.
right?
Quitting things from the activity monitor
Not
is not something that we would escalate. It's not something that's supported through AppleCare. It's not a process or procedure that an AppleCare advisor will ever tell you to do.
if I cannot force quit from the force quit screen or from activity monitor, that's
No,
not cause to run capture data.
No, AppleCare advisors will never, ever ask you to quit a process from the activity monitor. That's not something that AppleCare provides support on.
Okay. What about the force quit?
If you are unable to quit an application and it's not responding in the force quit menu, the usual next step is to shut down the Mac using a forced quit shutdown or a forced shutdown.
All right. I will do that and I will see what happens.
Great.
Okay, the next time it happens, I'll do that and see what happens. All right. So far it seems like I have no problem. Right?
It seems like you have no problem. I'd agree with that. If you do have an unexpected behavior that occurs, you like us to troubleshoot it, we're here to provide that assistance, okay?
Yeah, I guess I can't show up things disappearing from my Mac and my settings changing all the time. I guess that's not relevant. All right, listen, Tim. I thank you for your help.
Thank you for contacting us. Have
Yeah,
a good day.
sure. You too. Bye bye. Okay, another one bites the dust and stop.